444. Nikki.
You know the music. It's called Nadia's Theme.
What is happening?
And it plays each day at the beginning of The Young and the Restless.
I left you alone for 2 minutes, and this has happened.
The soap opera just celebrated its 11,000th episode.
Could you imagine? 11,000 episodes.
Joshua Morrow, a.k.a. Nick Newman.
He has been a part of nearly half of them since he started on the show decades ago.
Yeah, he was in Hartford on Sunday for the Xfinity Women's Expo, and we were lucky enough to get a private audience with the star. I was lucky enough.
Yeah, take a look. Let's go.
So 22 years, and I read you actually took that job when you were still living at home with your mom. I mean, could you ever have imagined this career?
I really can't. It's been an unbelievable dream come true. I never grew up wanting to be an actor a day in my life, so a lot of actors don't like hearing that, but it was just kind of something I fell into in college because, frankly, that's where all the girls were.
What would you have been if you weren't an actor?
The teacher, coach, and you know, the best part of my life is coaching my sons in their sports. So yeah, I just want to be a teacher, a coach, and if not that, then a fireman. I really want to be a fireman.
Your life is so not a soap opera.
Nick leads this very dramatic, stressful life. The biggest stress in my life is my kids' youth sports. You know, I literally sit in my dressing room all day making lineups and dreaming about matchups. So I couldn't be less like Nick. And I've been very blessed to meet a woman who I don't deserve, and she gave me 4 of the coolest children the world's ever seen. So I really hit a lottery in life, and I never forget how fortunate I am.
What's your favorite storyline?
My all-time favorite storyline is also my least favorite. It's the death of Cassie, which was very difficult to tell, but it kind of allowed me to become like this other role on the show, if you will. They kind of entrusted me with a story of that nature.
How many marriages have you had on the show?
Oof, I don't know, maybe like 5. 3 of them have been to Sharon, you know, and Nick's Juliet, but I think 5, and like a couple times left at the altar. I don't know, it's a little confusing. I need like a PowerPoint presentation to keep up with all of them.
What does your wife say?
She says, go take the trash out. She couldn't care less about what I do for a living, as long as I take the trash out and do the dishes after dinner and teach my boys how to be men. My middle son is very interested in acting. He talks all the time. He really wants to be on the show. He sees kids on the show and goes, why didn't I get to?
Would you want that for him?
Honestly, if that's what he wants, how can you tell a kid you can't do that? It's definitely not what I would want for him. I'd like him to be a kid. They actually offered my older son a role in the show years ago, and he couldn't be less interested in that. I'm like, dude.
So he turned it down?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, let's talk about this. This could be college. He's like, no. So.
What is a typical day like for you? I mean, the fans must wonder, what is it like? Is it so glamorous, or is there just really long days?
Nothing really glamorous about it. What you see on TV, you know, like particularly like the love or sex scenes, and there's nothing romantic or beautiful about that. It's very by the book, you know. My day begins at 7, so I'm up at about 6. I get into work, I learn my lines, you know, maybe do a little rehearsing. My average day, I'm probably done by about 3 or 4, but it's a great job. I mean, and that, to be honest, that's the reason I've stayed so long, is that it's allowed me to have the life I really want, which is to coach my boys in sports. I'm home for dinner every night. It's very stable.
So 11,000 episodes were just celebrated, and I know you guys made such a big deal about the fans and just how loyal they are. I mean, you're about to meet a whole bunch of fans out there. What's it like for you to have that kind of support and to make that personal connection when you see them?
Yeah, I love doing these. The travel is not great, but I love getting out and meeting people who this show means so much to. You know, I would equate it to if I got to meet Michael Jordan, or obviously I don't think I'm like Michael Jordan, but it would matter to me, when I see people who've been watching this show generationally. Their grandmother handed it to their mother handed it to the daughter, and to see how much you mean to them for that 20 seconds that they get with you, I mean, that's really, that's palpable. You feel them. A lot of times they're like, they're shaking. They just want to touch you. And
so inquiring minds want to know if you might get together with your half-brother's widow?
Well, he asked me to look out for his son. I think Nick is going to look out for a little more than that.
Think there'll be a chance that you'd ever marry Sharon again?
I would bet my house in life that Nick marries Sharon again at some point. You can book that. Now, it's not going to happen anytime soon. She's with one of my other brothers. But for now, they're not apart. I mean, they're not together, but anybody who knows it, I mean, they're Victor and Nikki 2.0. They will somehow find their way back to each other at some point.
You got 4 kids. I know how old you are because we're the same age.
There we go.
What do you do to stay in shape?
Well, I have 3 sons who play a lot of sports, so I'm out there almost every day with them, and I also play a lot of my own sports. I mean, I play tennis and soccer, and those are extremely active sports.
Are there carbs involved?
I eat whatever I want.
You do?
Truly.
I hate him. I hate him.
I ended it there knowing you would say, I hate him.
I hate him.
He did say as he got older, he's needed to kind of cut back on the alcohol.
Oh, what
that's
a
the
shame.
only adjustment.
Oh, that's just terrible. But you know what's so
He
nice?
was so nice. Like, just, how he said that I do this just so I can have my real life where I want to be just a great dad and husband, and he's married his college sweetheart. I mean, how lucky she is.
And he has a daughter as well, right?
A daughter who he just talked about. He was on, he goes, she was sort of, we weren't planning on her.
Right.
He said, but she's a big ball of just sparkle and purple. He's like, I didn't know anything about girls. We thought she'd be a tomboy. He's like, she's so not. Every Christmas and birthday, she wants me to get her a real rainbow unicorn. And he's like, she's disappointed.
I wanted the same thing.
She's like, she's disappointed that I can't get it for her. We can't tell her it's not real yet. But she's 4, and he said that he just doesn't even know. He just looks at her and he lights up.
What I think is great is that he recognizes and appreciates the life that he has been given. How lucky he is, which is so nice to see that gratitude, because a lot of people, they get to that level and they lose sight of that more and more. But he seems like such a nice guy. I'm glad you had an opportunity to talk with him.
He was really, really nice.